Welcome to Facts TV News, where everything is true. Jamaica News in Review. Man killed while celebrating birthday. Elderly eyewitness collapses and dies. A man was shot and killed on Mystic Way in Waterford, St. Catherine, about 5:30 p.m. on Sunday while celebrating his birthday. An elderly woman who witnessed the shooting reportedly collapsed and was pronounced dead at hospital. The man, Jason Ivy, of a Waterford address, was reportedly playing domino and having drinks with friends in celebration of his birthday when he was pounced upon by a gunman. He was shot multiple times and was pronounced dead on arrival at the Spanish Town Hospital. Another man was shot in the arm and was treated at hospital. Eyewitnesses say the elderly woman remains unidentified, appeared to have been frightened by the explosions and collapse. Counsel for the Waterford Division, Fenty Douglas, said the area had been enjoying relative peace since October last year. "I can't say that the peace has been broken. We have been working closely with the police and through different community interventions, we have been able to maintain relatively calm in the area," Douglas stated. He is appealing to residents who might have information on the shooting to work with the police to solve the murder. Man in formwork scam to pay $200,000 restitution after a complainant dies. A man who is accused of taking about $1.5 million in a formwork ticket fraud has been ordered to pay $150,000 in restitution to the family of one of the complainants who died before the resolution of the matter. The woman, who was among 10 complainants, died on May 24, 2 days before the case was scheduled to be mentioned in the St. Catherine Parish Court. When accused man Ryan Payne appeared on Friday, Parish Judge Natalie Dixon ordered him to prepare the restitution payment for his next court appearance on June 19. It is alleged that in 2020, Payne made the complainant and told her he was an employee of the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development and would provide them with tickets for the overseas formwork program. They paid over sums to him, but he allegedly failed to honor his promise and became elusive. The matter was reported to the Spanish Town Police. An investigation was launched and Payne was arrested and subsequently charged with obtaining money by means of false pretense. Jamaican business giant and Lasco founder Lasco dies. Jamaica business giant and founder of Lasco affiliated companies Lasco has died. He died in the United States at the age of 86. Managing Director of Lasco Manufacturing James Rawle said Chin was in the U.S. for the medical treatment. He said a statement will be issued shortly. Chin was the executive chairman of Lasco Manufacturing, Lasco Financial and Services, and Lasco Distributors. The three entities make up the Lasco affiliated companies, which was established in 1988. Many of Lasco's food products are household names in Jamaica because of its affordable prices. He received many awards for his entrepreneurship and philanthropy, including Jamaica's fourth highest civil honor, the Order of Jamaica, in 2001. Chin was born in Bagwag, St. Catherine, but grew up in Kendal, Manchester, and Balaclava in St. Elizabeth. "I came from humble beginnings and even had to make my own toys as a child. Being Chinese, I was teased at times, but that made me determined to achieve my goals. My teachers told me I was very mature for my age, so I studied very hard to be successful," he told reporters in an interview in 2014. One dead, 3 injured in St. Anne crash. A man died from injuries he sustained in a 2-vehicle crash in Priory St. Anne on Sunday morning. He has been identified as Jeffrey Johnson of Edge Hill, St. Anne's Bay in the parish. Police report are that around 12:03 a.m., Johnson was driving his Corolla car when he crashed into a Lexus motor car. Johnson and all 3 occupants of the Lexus motor vehicle were rushed to hospital, where he was pronounced dead. The condition of the other victims is not known at this time. Alleged robber identified using finger left at crime scene charged. A 52-year-old man who reportedly shot off one of his fingers while robbing a woman in St. Angela last year has been charged after police nabbed him using fingerprints from the severed digit. Herbert Ricky Wallace was arrested on May 17 and charged on May 25 with robbery with aggravation, possession of a prohibited weapon, and unauthorized possession of ammunition. Wallace, who is from Riverton Meadows in St. Andrew, was named in the Jamaica Constabulary Force Wanted Wednesday campaign. Reports were that about 8:45 p.m. on November 28, 2022, the complainant was at her business establishment when she was pounced upon by Wallace and his accomplice, who robbed her of $60,000. During the robbery, Wallace's gun went off and his side middle finger was severed from his hand, causing him and his accomplice to flee the area, police reports stated. While the police processed the scene, they retrieved the finger, which was later cross-referenced with the fingerprint data. Wallace was identified as the alleged perpetrator. He was formally charged after he was pointed out on an identification parade and his schedule to appear before the corporate era gun court. The police say that the accomplice is still being sought. Hunts Bay Criminal Investigations Branch probed the matter. Juveniles on gun, unlawful wounding charges escaped from Rehoboth Correctional Center. A manhunt has been launched for 3 juveniles who escaped from the Rehoboth Juvenile Correctional Center on Trigger Park, Spanish Town, St. Catherine on Saturday. The 3 boys, a 16-year-old and 2 17-years-old, were slapped with a number of charges including unlawful wounding, robbery with aggravation, and wounding with intent. The 16-year-old, who is from the Hatchfield Housing Scheme in Westmoreland, was charged with unlawful wounding and robbery with aggravation. One of the 17-years-old of Mark Road, George's Plain, also in Westmoreland, was charged with illegal possession of firearm and wounding with intent. The other, who is from Wakeland Drive, Falmouth, was charged with escaping custody. Reports are that about 12:30 p.m., all 3 juveniles were coming from lunch when they escaped the facility by jumping over a perimeter fence. The police are appealing to anyone with information on their whereabouts to contact the Spanish Town Criminal Investigations Branch, CIB, at 876-984-2874, the Police 119 emergency number, Crime Stop at 311 or the nearest police station. Cop fatally shot in alleged Manchester domestic dispute, wife hospitalized. A policeman was shot and killed allegedly by his wife during a domestic dispute in Somerset District in Manchester. The woman allegedly attempted to commit suicide and is in hospital nursing knife wounds. The deceased has been identified as Constable Damien Blair. Blair was a constable assigned to the Mandeville station for over 25 years. The two were always said to have long-standing dispute, and people even told them that it's better for them to get their ways separated, but it seemed none of them wanted to leave because they built their house together, a colleague said who asked not to be named. This is the 3rd police who we have lost in the past 2 or 3 years from one department. It is so sad that this had to be the end. I wish this wasn't the end, another colleague expressed. The police reported that about 6:40 p.m., Blair and his wife were having an argument which escalated. It is alleged that the wife used his service weapon to shoot him. It is also being alleged that the husband was hit with a blunt object during the incident. Neighbors reported heard explosions and alerted the police. On arrival of the police, Blair was seen suffering from injuries and his wife was lying in blood with what appeared to be a stab wound. They were taken to hospital where Blair was pronounced dead and the wife was admitted in serious condition. Woman charged for Portland double murder. Detectives assigned to the Major Investigations Division MID had charged a woman for the May 24 double murder of a man and a woman along Campbell Avenue in Port Antonio, Portland. She is Jodian Jackson, a 28-year-old bar operator and nail technician of Anchoviland Settlement in Portland. She was charged in relation to the deaths of 28-year-old Shade Pink of Campbell Avenue, 23-year-old Keno James King of Johnstown District, both in the parish. Reports from the Portland police are that about 11 p.m., both victims were among a group of persons playing domino when Jackson drove a Toyota Fila motor car to the area. One man exited and opened gunfire at them. When the shooting subsided, Pinky, who was in an advanced stage of pregnancy, and James were seen suffering from gunshot wounds. They were assisted to hospital where they were pronounced dead. An investigation was launched and Jackson was taken into custody. She was subsequently charged on Monday, May 29. Jamaican husband of dead Canadian woman charged, more serious charge pending. Police have charged a husband of Cheddar Pardin Whitehead, the Canadian who died while visiting the island earlier this month. Rory Palmer, a 28-year-old fisherman from Shearers Heights in Portland Cottage, Clarendon, was charged with causing grievous bodily harm with intent. Palmer is to appear in the Clarendon Parish Court in Maypen on Thursday, June 1. Whitehead, a 28-year-old school board employee from Toronto, Canada, died on May 13 after she reportedly came to visit Palmer in the Shearers Hat community to celebrate their wedding anniversary. A preliminary autopsy result indicated that Whitehead died from a blunt force injury to the head. We are still awaiting the toxicology result to determine if he will be charged for the homicide, Superintendent Carlos Russell, head of the Clarendon Division, told reporters. Whitehead reportedly arrived on the island 2 weeks before her death. Police reported that the day before she died, she and her husband had a dispute which got physical. It is alleged that a fan was thrown at the Canadian and her head slammed into a wall. Whitehead reportedly left the home and went to stay at her friend's house in the same community. While there, her friend reportedly advised her to visit the hospital. However, Whitehead expressed that she did not wish to go and refused to report the incident to the police. Police said while at home, Whitehead went to sleep sometime after 3 p.m. and her friends observed that her head was swollen and tried to convince her to visit the doctor, but she refused. Further reports indicated that around 5:30 p.m., the friends returned home and discovered Whitehead lying in the same position they left her. They realized she was not moving and reported the matter to the Lioneltown police station. The police responded and saw Whitehead's lifeless body lying face down on the bed. She was clad in a white t-shirt and blue short jeans pants. Swelling was observed on the face and neck, and she had what appeared to be blood stain on her hand. The body was transported to the Lioneltown Hospital where it was confirmed dead. Woman gunned down in Tucker, St. James. A woman was gunned down in the Vital Tucker community in St. James. The deceased has so far been identified as Adriana Hansen, a 34-year-old business operator from the community. Members of the St. James Police were processing the scene. Reports were that about 7 p.m., Hansen was in a business place in the community when she was attacked and shot multiple times. She was later pronounced dead. 2 shot, 1 fatally in St. James gun attack. A man was shot and killed and another injured in an incident in Roehampton District in St. James on Tuesday afternoon. The deceased has so far only been identified as Presser. It is reported that shortly after 2 p.m., the men were among a group of persons at a shop in Roehampton when men traveling aboard a motor vehicle opened gunfire hitting them. The police were summoned and on their arrival, both men were discovered suffering from gunshot wounds and were rushed to hospital. Presser was pronounced dead while the other man was admitted in serious condition. No motive has yet been established for the shooting. Man to serve 25 years for double murder. A Kingston man who pleaded for his role in a brazen 2013 daylight robbery that ended in a double murder will have to spend 25 years in prison for his crime. Shane Cook was given the mandatory life sentence and ordered to serve 25 years before he is eligible for parole during a hearing in the Home Circuit Court on Tuesday. Cook was convicted for the shooting deaths of businessman Adolph Campbell, a licensed firearm holder, and one of his employees, Michael Francis, at his Linford Avenue St. Andrew Business Place on April 12, 2013. Another man who was with Campbell and Francis escaped unhurt. Cook's accomplice was shot dead by the businessman. Cook fled the scene of the shooting with his firearm, Campbell's licensed gun, and the gun belonging to his mortally wounded crony, according to evidence prosecutors have lined up for his trial. He was apprehended by the police a short time later, and the gun seized after the car in which he was traveling was intercepted near the crime scene. He was pointed out during an identification parade by a policeman who witnessed the mid-morning shooting. The police report that at about 9 a.m. on April 12, 2013, Campbell was sitting in front of his business place along with Francis and another man. Cook and his accomplice, who were walking along Kew Road before turning onto Linford Avenue and stopping at a garage. They turned back and went to where Campbell and his employees were sitting and asked if they knew where the Radiator shop was before pulling handguns. Cook's accomplice grabbed a gold chain from around Campbell's neck before a tussle developed between them. According to the police report, the accomplice opened fire after Campbell pulled his licensed firearm and Francis ran to his assistance. The businessman returned gunfire, and when the shooting ended, all three were found with gunshot wounds. Cook tried to help his accomplice fled the scene, but the wounded man collapsed and later succumbed to his injuries. Education Minister says relationship with JTA President remains cardinal. Minister of Education Favor Williams has denied assertions that her relationship with the President of the JTA, Lasandra Harrison, has broken down. Williams said since becoming minister, she has prided herself with having a very cordial and professional relationship with the GTA. I take seriously their monthly meetings that are scheduled. I ensure that whatever issues come to forth, research is done, and we are able to respond at the next meeting. I respect the Jamaica Teachers Association. I respect the role that they play, but I have to respond when there is mischief in the system. The ministry can't be silent. The ministry has to respond to say, that is not so, or this is how it is from our perspective, Williams said in yesterday's post-cabinet press briefing. Her comments follow a release from the Education Ministry on Tuesday, in which the claim of a teacher receiving only $6.68 in salary for March 2023 was described as blatantly false. In the said release, she called for rationality to prevail and for specifics of the teacher's situation to be represented to the Education Ministry to allow adequate research and response, as a destabilization education sector serves no one. We have to respond if someone is going around talking about the ministry not responding, talking about generalities. We have to respond to let Jamaicans know what the other side is. We have to bring balance to the institution, the minister remarked. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell.